Okay, a very good evening to everyone. And today, welcome to the Author Saga session. And I would like to introduce our guest for today, Mr. Deepal Sooriyaarachchi, who is a director at AIA Insurance Sri Lanka and who is a management consultant, especially an author, an inspirational author, a trainer, a speaker, and a life coach for us. I warmly welcome Mr. Deepal Sooriyaarachchi on board. Hello, Mr. Deepal. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for inviting me to join this very interesting
Hi.
gathering.
Okay, you're welcome. I will just give a brief about Pick a Book and what we do in Pick a Book. So, Pick a Book is a global movement with the initiative of helping people to read books and transform lives. So, this author saga has been there for a few months now, and we are by this author saga program, what we have planned to inspire new authors to become experienced and knowledgeable authors in the future. So, first of all, I would like to ask Mr. Deepal about a little bit about his childhood, whether you were always a reader or a writer, or did you had any hobbies other than reading or writing? Just wanted to ask you as the first question.
Okay, I was a very naughty child to begin with, and I was an average student, not the best student in the class. But I always loved telling stories. And yes, I was, I think, I was lucky for the teachers to spot my talent. I wanted to join the music class. Then the master realized that I cannot sing at all. So without hurting me, he slowly said, if you want to do science, why don't you join the arts class so that you can learn how to draw by looking through the microscope. So when I went to the arts class, art teacher asked me to do an elephant. And I drew an elephant and he knew my talent of drawing is also very limited. And this art teacher used to do some articles for a magazine at that time about European artists, right? And I started reading them very carefully. Then he said, writing. I said, yes, sir. Already when I was in grade 6, I had edited a handwritten magazine. Oh, is that so? And then he inspired me. A master called Sahinam Sirisin. I still respect him. He's no more. And he's the one who inspired me to write. So I became a Mihira newspaper reporter. So the first time one of your reports get published in the newspaper, so it's thrill, right? I mean, but we don't know how many likes we got because it was a different era. So yes, I did write, and then I moved into advertising after a few steps in my career, and then I was a copywriter, TV production, we call it story writer, and I've written songs and things like that. So I've been writing throughout. Yeah.
Okay, so
And
that was
I've been a good reader.
yeah, so that was an interesting story. And there's this book called Sinhalem Business written by you. So I will before we go to the inward bound book, and I would just like to ask a few questions. What inspired you to write this Sinhalem Business book in 1989?
Yeah. Actually, this book was published in 2000. And in 1989, there was a youth uprising in the South, and thousands of young men and women were killed. And I used to come to work from Horman on the motorbike, and it was a very common sight to see burning young bodies on the roadside on tires. I don't think any of you have seen this. This really moved me because I was from a village, and some of these boys I knew. And by that time I was working, and I realized that, okay, I got the opportunity to work in the corporate world because of my English and my marketing studies. So I thought, okay, well, how can I share what I know? And I got an opportunity to write into a magazine called Velenda, which was published by Hittigura Group. And then I started writing newspapers, and I suddenly realized I have a collection. And my father died when I was 20. I just started work. And I promised my mother on his 10th death anniversary, I will bring out this first book. So I had put the deadline before I did anything. So somehow I managed to bring the book out, Single in Business, and it has six or seven books in the series. And these are all, this was probably one of the first books in Sinhala to take marketing and management thought into the Sinhala community. And that has really, I mean, the book is still in market. Fifth, I think fifth publication, fifth print.
All right, that was also a really inspirational speech that you have given, because you have already set a target before you write the book. So that was really inspirational for me. So now let's move on to the main book that we are going to talk today, Inward Bound. So what actually inspired you to write this book? And can you tell us a little bit of about this book as well?
Okay. You know, I told you, I'm a storyteller. I love to tell stories, right? I want to share what I see, what I know, what I experienced. If you ask me, the biggest benefit I got in my whole life is getting exposed to the practice of mindfulness when I was 20. And ever since, I have been continuously keeping that practice also going. That is long before this word of mindfulness in the world of corporates was known. And when we started doing it, people in the urban systems wouldn't think that it's something that you would do. You think only eccentric people will go and do meditation. So when I left my full-time work or closer to that, I think, Daily FT wanted me to do a series. And I was thinking, oh, what can I write, Everybody writes about business, but I think everybody has a life. Then I thought, why don't I share my insights about this? And by that time, I have been introducing mindfulness to corporate training and things like that. And when I wanted to do a little website on this or new program, I remember asking somebody who had taken part in this program, that is Mr. Iran Kore from Jetwing. 5 years later, they said, this program was so inspirational and helped us to go inward. So that's why I coined the word inward bound. And this was first published in UK. And I did it for a strategic reason, so that you have published in UK instead of first year. Then, of course, I published it locally again with Sarasari. And that's basically to make it very readable, reader-friendly, and then for average person to understand and practice this beautiful method of mindfulness as a busy executive that I discovered.
All right, Mr. Deepal. And nowadays, the new authors has this problem of how to get their research done for if they are writing a certain book. So I just wanted to know, how did you manage to conduct a research for this book? And can you share a little bit how it was, and was it on and off research, or was it continuous research?
No, this is actually, if you read it, it's my own experience, and over, I mean, since 1980. So you're talking about 20 years of life practice. So that's the research. And if you look at the Single Business book series, they of course had research from various publications and things like that. But there I converted them into local things. So most of my books are books that are straight from my heart, right? Things that I have experienced, learned, and practiced, right, with the management or otherwise. So the research in that sense was not the book that I had to do research was my father's biography. So that I had to speak to some people and get things. It was there again. There was a deadline, so I had to dig his files and get information and things like that. So if you were to do something if you have to research on a subject, I think it takes a while. I mean, today it's much easier than our generation. I mean, you go and Google and you search. But I think it's both.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Deepa. And another question coming on because there's this another book from you called Living Together, which is also a religious living dialogue uh, in a sense. So, what actually made you to write this book? I'm just going to ask this question because
All right. Living together caption, of course, is a marketing ploy so that for my book launch, there were more than 200 people because they wanted to know what Deepal is talking about living together. And and this was a very interesting and a blessing that I had through a series of coincidences. I got an opportunity to take part in an interreligious dialogue where I had the opportunity of moving with people who are two, three times of my age. When I was 24, the founder of this dialogue, like your organization, was from Germany. He was 75. So I had to keep pace. They were theologians and people of that time. But this took me to different parts of the world, from India to Pakistan to Japan to Bali, Indonesia, the whole of Europe and Japan, like that. So I went with different people and I lived with different religious people, different religious backgrounds, and deeply practicing some of them. So I thought this is too good to keep to myself. And on the 100th death anniversary of the founder, there was again a dialogue meeting in Germany. So this was my gift to them. This, of course, I had to work for about 2 weeks, roughly about 18 hours a day at a stretch. And these are 300-page book, and I had to read, write, edit, and copy from various diary notes. That was a bit of hard work. Yeah.
all right. And you are not only known for the corporate books and the novels, you are also known for your children books as well. So you have written this book called Dear Parent Hari Parata. So what are your thoughts about kids' books, the children's books?
Well, I don't consider myself as an expert children's author. This Deepal and Haribharat, of course, I wrote while I was waiting to see a doctor because it took so long. The doctor was very busy with some surgery or something, so I had to wait. I had no other option. And I sat down and wrote. It was a stanza from Dhammapada, which is about how one would develop your mind. And this was the story about a child who goes to a village and he sees how farmers take water from one paddy plot to another. And then it links to this whole practice of mindfulness. So I've written about 3 children's books already. And they're all from Buddhist stories, but introduced to them. And I was very fortunate to have got Sibyl Ratta Singh to do illustrations for this. So I'm not an expert on children's books, but little stories.
Okay, so that was also great because some authors, when it comes for a certain genre, they prefer to stay on that genre forever. But you have done an amazing job because you have moved your genre to children's books, the corporate, the self-help books, and also single books as well. So that's actually an amazing job. And we have this another book called Leadership, written by you. So actually, what is this book about?
This is again part of the Sinhala Business Book series. It's one of the most popular books because there again, now there are a few books on leadership in Sinhala. The time that I published this, there was hardly any books on leadership in Sinhala. And what I did was I brought in examples from different spheres of leadership, the Eastern and Western, and from the local and international, but I distilled the core principles so that it could be applied in corporate leadership mostly.
All right, and that is also really great. And finally, can we just get a few words from you about why you read personally, and what piece of advice do you have for aspiring authors? And any common traps that you might like to guide them through when they're
Exactly.
writing a book.
If I advise myself, I think first, don't allow procrastination to, you know, postpone writing, right? And keep writing whatever that comes to your mind, right? When I say writing, it can be even typing it into your computer. But keep a notebook of whatever that comes to your mind, writing. And for example, these days I have this book, and every day, every now and then, I write some things that come to my mind. Like for example, I just wrote a few days ago, uh, what we see as existence is nothing but constant change. Things like that come right. Secondly, uh, discipline about writing. If you don't have discipline, you will never finish it. So best is to fix some deadline to do it. And the other important thing is don't be in a hurry to publish though. Try to perfect. I just finished my latest book, Dhammapada workbook for children. It has a little modern interpretation of Dhammapada and some exercises to do. There again, I was lucky to get Sibyl Singh to illustrate. But I think I got it proofread and 7 times or 8 times. So I went to one of the experts in Dhamma and language, Tirukunamale Anandhamtu. So, somebody very, very good and slight things even, to do that, which I hadn't done very well in my previous publications. So make it, then I told this a lady who was doing the book, I said, make every single page a masterpiece. Right? So if you think that every page should be a masterpiece, then you will end up writing something good. And it's not how quickly you finish your book and publish it, but do a very good job. So you have to be very happy with what you have done. And finally, find a good publisher. That's the difficult one, right? Self-publishing is good, but if you don't have a way of marketing your book, then it's a big investment and money doesn't come back. Right? There's a big margin in the books, but if you don't know how to distribute, the excitement of seeing your book in print is very good. But if it doesn't translate into a distribution, then you have a problem. And locally, getting a good book launch is a good way to launch the book, because initially you get a good traction for the book. But internationally, of course, there are people who do publications. If it's a good publisher, they will have a good program to help self-publishing authors. But of course, today you can publish on internet, and then you can publish for. I mean, there's so many opportunities. I mean, you all are experts on that than me.
And I think new authors also will get good ideas from this as well. And finally, I would like to ask you just one question, and this question would be not just for new authors, for whole world, and the readers who are really interested in reading books. And what would be your idea or thought regarding reading? And what would be the advice that you can give to people who are willing to read books?
You know, reading is fascinating. I remember reading Madaldu as a child, and I remember still the excitement and the feeling of stress when reading that he sees this, this pot of fire going around the island. I was scared as a child. But when I saw this on the movie, of course, directed by Dr. Lester James Pearis, the whole thing was, you know, anticlimax. Because when you read, it leads into your imagination. For me, that's the most important thing of reading. Because when you, it is very easy to watch, then we are limited by somebody else's imagination. But when you read, it can create so much of pictures. So, and you can keep thinking about it. It's your own interpretation, right? And you can take your own time, right? You can ponder about it. It can be one word, one phrase, and start thinking, right? I was just reading a book called this Siddhartha's Brain, and he was describing the Buddha, right? The man who got enlightened under a Bodhi tree. And this author describes a young man, but he's frail. He's not strong as the statues that we see. Now, isn't it fascinating? Because he has been fasting for 6 years. And then in the next few weeks only, he became enlightened. So he can be so full of flesh within a few days, right? You see? So that is how he has written it. And the imagery can come. So it's what I'm trying to say is I think the reading accentuates your ability to imagine more than doing it. Because when you watch on a video, right, you see somebody else's imagination. And if you are a tech person, then you begin to think, of course, how did this effect was created? Then you have lost the beauty of it. So I think in that way, reading will always enhance the thinking capacity of people. Then would be listening. Then would be multimedia watching. But it's easy to watch a video clip there and read a book.
Yeah. So we have comments from the chat box. Mr. Modi Day is saying a lot to learn from Mr. Deepa's life stories, and he's really grateful for sharing with us. And I personally learned a lot of things from today's this session, and I would really like to thank Mr. Deepal Sooriyaarachchi for being with us for this amazing session that he has done. And thanks again, Mr. Deepal, and hope to see you again in the future.
This was very, very satisfying, and I congratulate the team who has conceptualized this picker book. It's a brilliant initiative. Well done. Keep it up. All the very best to you.
All right. Then everyone, hope to see you all again in the future author saga session. And until then, stay safe and good night.